What is going on, guys? Joseph from the PSO Tube here, and I'm going to be talking about Sega and what should they do about the future of the Phantasy Star franchise, particularly in the western regions on an NA server. Sega is pretty tight-lipped about anything Phantasy Star related as of late, so with much understanding, this has caused their fanbase to divide a little bit. There's a side of people who are still interested in the possibility of playing Phantasy Star on an NA server, pretty much like I am. There's a side of people who have pretty much just given up and lost interest in the whole idea of playing Phantasy Star again, like the people who are probably not watching this video. And then there's the third group of people, who are the ones pretty much lying to themselves and saying they don't care or they've lost hope in Sega, yet they still spend their time on forums, subreddits, or any other social media outlets stating this over and over and over again. Which kind of makes it apparent that they still have a great deal of interest in the Phantasy Star franchise and are still welcome to the idea of playing Phantasy Star on an NA server. But they just want to kind of appear cool and kind of be one of those guys to stick it to Sega, and aren't really helping out the cause either way. So before we delve into what Sega should do to win back some of their fans, I'm going to ask you guys one quick question. What makes Phantasy Star so special, and why should we play it when there's so many other MMORPGs out right now? Well, besides the great gameplay, the amazing looting system with the amazing looking rare weaponry, there's one essential element that is nearly impossible for any other game to simulate. The answer to that question is you. The community has always been a huge part of Phantasy Star, it's always been its strong point, and it's pretty much the thing that kept Phantasy Star Universe running for over 6 years. If we as a community were so important then, why aren't we now? And the answer to that question is still, we are. We are very important. It has become due to popular belief that Sega doesn't really care about their fan base and completely left us in the dust. But this couldn't be further from the truth. As I stated in a previous video, Sega has absolutely no problem being the bearer of bad news. If the game is cancelled, they'll say it's cancelled. If the game is in development, it's in development. If the game is cancelled, it's cancelled. You see the pattern here? The point is, last month Sega stated that the game is still delayed. Not cancelled, it's delayed. So if they don't have any new information to give us, as hard as it is to believe in 2 years that there's no new information, we still just have to accept it. There's something going on behind the scenes, and we just don't understand what it is. While it would be nice to know what's actually going on, it's just not in Sega's plans for one reason or another, and we have no choice but to accept that. So if you're one of those people who have decided that they've lost hope, and what are you still doing here? So with that said, I'm going to delve into what I think Sega should do to make their fans happy once again. In this portion of the video, I'll do my best in taking all possibilities into consideration, so let's start off with number 1. Number 1. Let us in on what's going on. Whether it's a complicated licensing issue with Sega of Japan, or they had to put the project on hold temporarily while they're working on another project. It would really be nice if we can just if Sega could just be a little more direct with their fans. For instance, they say the game's delayed. Well, why is it delayed? I mean, come on, Sega. You don't have to be specific. You can just let us know if it's a technical issue or something. However, I'm pretty sure that if Sega were to be allowed to say something a little more specific about the game's development, they probably would have by now. Number 2. Give us hope. Now, this could be done in a lot of ways. But the best way I can see them going about is, it doesn't have to be something huge, it could be something really small. Something as simple as probably changing their Facebook profile picture, adding something really small to the PSO2 website. Or it could be something like fixing the typo in the announcement trailer. Number 3. Scrap it. That's right, I said it. Scrap PSO2. While I'm not too fond of this one, because I am really looking forward to PSO2's release, why not scrap PSO? Why not just scrap PSO and release another Phantasy Star game? For instance, Phantasy Star Universe 2. But I mean, imagine if they take Phantasy Star Online 2's engine and release a Phantasy Star game which takes place in the Graal system. They can take everything Phantasy Star Universe have done wrong and replace it with everything PSO does right. It can combine the lobby exploration of PSU and mix it with the combat system which is so profound in PSO2. And for once, we wouldn't even be behind Japan because we would finally have our own Phantasy Star game which releases its own updates as it goes along. But of course, there's probably some kind of licensing or contractual blockade which is preventing my fantasy from becoming a reality. Number 4. Give us back PSU! I mean, allegedly, the reason behind them shutting down the Phantasy Star Universe servers were because they wanted to begin development on Phantasy Star Online too. Which is all good and dandy 2 years ago, but that was 2 years ago! We have gone way too long without a Phantasy Star game, and I still stand behind my dream of having a Phantasy Star Universe arcade game which supports 6-player co-op online and is released for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Steam. And it bears all the content from Ambition of the Illuminas to Infinity from the PlayStation Portable for a nominal fee of $20 and no monthly fees. Although I would pay $60. Number 5. If the game is cancelled, tell us. I'm gonna do my best to stay a little serious right now. There are fans like me who are dedicated, and I really mean dedicated. But we also don't like to be lied to. Sega, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, if you're even hearing about this, if Phantasy Star Online 2 is really cancelled, tell us. Tell us so that we're not wasting our time, and your time, and that I'm not wasting the people who are watching this video's time. I've done my best to hold my utmost respect for you as a company. I expect you to do your job in treating me with the same respect as your fan. After all these years, your fans deserve honesty. And finally, number 6. Give us a beta, or hell, even give us an alpha. Give us a character creation demo, because Sega, I know that you guys have, if not most, some of the game complete, because you guys held a demo, a playable demo of the game at PAX 2012. There's videos, and I've seen all the videos, so you can't lie to me there. The game has been proven playable, if not complete. So let's go. What are we waiting for? It's almost 4 years in development, and goddammit, Sega, it's about time you guys finally show for it. Let's start updating the PSO2 website. Let's get to work on getting your fans back together, because until you guys either announce that the game is cancelled, or you finally release some sort of hype for this game, we ain't going nowhere. Alright guys, thank you guys for sticking out for my, well, I guess it's the top 6. I was kind of improvising as I went along. I guess we hit 6, it's magic number 6. I got a message directly for Sega. And I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to be, adding a little bit of cheese to this, if you don't mind. Just a little bit of cheesiness at the end of this, but stick with me. When Sega closed down the Phantasy Star Universe servers, first off, that was something that struck thousands, I want to say thousands, but maybe hundreds, who knows. A lot of people were affected by that. It hurt a lot of people. You guys can watch the final 10 minutes of that. It hurts when you see the notification saying servers are down. I forget what the notification was, but then for the first time in Phantasy Star Universe you hear silence. That silence hits hard at home. It hurts. However, there was a phrase that a certain employee from Sega, who may or may not still be working with them, I don't know. But not only did he say this, it was in Phantasy Star Universe's theme. The closing words to Phantasy Star Universe were, "Who said we are lost again in this lonely world? I say we can start again." Well, Sega, I don't know how many times I've heard that from playing your video game. Of all the 6 years I played that game, my question to you guys, though, is, when can we start again? When will our new beginning begin? And Sega, that's a question for you guys to answer. I'm Joseph from the PSO Tube, and thank you guys for watching.